Welcome students for this session. Today in this session, let us learn the 9th standard prose on saying please, written by A.G. Gardiner. Let me tell you about the author. A.G. Gardiner, full name is Alfred George Gardiner. He is a very famous English journalist. He is a very famous English journalist. He is an English journalist. Now let's move on to the lesson on saying please. I will summarize you this lesson. Okay. This lesson on saying please talks about socially important issues that we come across in our lives. And here in this lesson, A.G. Gardiner, our author, shows the importance of using polite words like please, thank you. Such words can help us to lead our life in a peaceful way. Okay. Here, our author shares his experience and he tells about two persons. Who are they? That is a liftman and the bus conductor. What is the story of the liftman? There was a liftman. One passenger came there and he went into the lift and he told the liftman that talk. He didn't use any polite word like please. He just told the liftman only talk. The liftman felt that he was not respected by the passenger. So he told the passenger to use polite word, but the passenger neglected. So the liftman got angry and he threw the passenger out of the lift. Okay. In this situation, our law doesn't or won't support the liftman. It will support only the passenger because he was abused by, he was physically abused by the liftman. So our law won't bother about good character, in the sense polite words. Okay, it will only bother about the physical abusement. Okay, it will not bother about the polite word whether he used or he didn't use. It will not bother about. But our author A.G. Gardiner says that the truth is impoliteness is more hurtful than the physical abuse. Do you understand? Impoliteness will be more hurtful than the physical abuse. Now, our author shares his experience which he had with bus conductor. Usually, you might have seen many bus conductors, they will be angry and they will be shouting the passengers, yes or no. So, we assume that bus conductors are like ill-tempered. Here, he says that A.G. Gardiner once, he got into the bus, after only he saw in his packet there was no purse. Okay, he forgot to bring the purse with him. So he was a bit frightened, but the bus conductor was well mannered. He didn't scold anything. He was using polite word. So our A.G. Gardiner, our author, was so happy by looking at the conductor. Okay. In the same way, once bus conductor stamped Gardiner's toe. He apologized for his deed in a polite way. So, our author says that I could forgive him easily because he apologized in a polite manner. Usually bus conductor, they will stand, they will kick us also, they will not ask sorry, sound. Okay. But here the conductor was well mannered, he was apologizing, he was asking sorry in a polite manner that our author could forgive easily. So he shares the difference between the person who used polite words and the person who didn't want to use polite words. Here he also says that, and he also differentiates the actions into two types. Okay, that is desirable action and punishable action. Okay, he divides our action into two types, that are desirable action and punishable actions. What is desirable action? We may know, we like those who use polite words, those who are well mannered, we like them, okay, we like. But we can't punish them if they won't use polite words. Do you understand what I am saying? We like to hear polite word from others. If they are not doing that, we can't punish them. The action which can't be punished is if anyone abused physically, that action can be punished. Okay. But if they won't use polite word, we can't punish them. Okay. So the action is divided into desirable action, punishable actions. Now let me read line by line and will explain. The young liftman in a city office who threw a passenger out of his lift the other morning and was fined for the offence was undoubtedly in the wrong. It was a question of please. The complainant entering the lift said top. The liftman demanded top please, and this concession being refused, he not only declined to comply with the instruction but hurled the passenger out of the lift. This, of course, was carrying a comment on manner too far. Discourtesy is not a legal offence, and it does not excuse assault and battery. If a burglar breaks into my house and I knock him down, the law will acquit me. And if I am physically assaulted, it will permit me to retaliate with reasonable violence. It does this because the burglar and my assailant have broken quite definite commands of the law. But no legal system could attempt to legislate against bad manners or could sanction the use of violence against something which it does not itself recognize as a legally punishable offence. And whatever our sympathy with a liftman, we must admit that the law is reasonable. It would never do if we were at liberty to box people's ears because we did not like their behavior, or the tone of their voice, or the scowl on their faces. Our fists would never be idle, and the gutters of the city would run with blood all day. Yes, dear students, as I said in the introduction, the liftman was not respected by the passenger and he was expecting the passenger to say top please. But the passenger was not willing to say that. So the liftman threw the passenger out of the lift. Here, the law supported only the passenger, not the liftman. In the same way, here our author says that if any thief come into our house and attack something, we have rights to attack or physically abuse the thief. This time, this law will support us. So, on the whole, the law is reasonable. And if we don't like the people, if we don't like to hear someone's voice,
If we don't like someone's behavior, we are not allowed to hurt them. If we don't like any behaviors of someone, if we don't like to see someone's face, we should not hurt them. We are not allowed to hurt. For this, if we are hurting means this antiquated law won't support us. I may be as uncivil as I may please, and the law will protect me against violent retaliation. I may be haughty or boorish, and there is no penalty to pay except the penalty of being written down an ill-mannered fellow. The law does not compel me to say please or to attune my voice to other people's sensibilities any more than it says that I shall not wag my mustache or dye my hair or wear ringlets down my back. It does not recognize the laceration of our feelings as a case of compensation. There is no allowance for moral and intellectual damages in these matters. Here, our author says that if we don't like the person behavior, we are not supposed to beat them or harm them. Instead, we have to control ourselves. The law won't expect us to use polite word, or it won't bother about the mannerism. It won't bother whether that is the fellow is having good manner or bad manner. It won't bother about. It only bothers about how a person is physically attacked. So, to control ourselves, if we don't like someone, to control ourselves, we can do any other things like tying our hair, wearing ringlets down of our back, all those things we can do. Our law will not bother about these things. Only if we physically hurt others, our law will not support us. This does not mean that the damages are negligible. It is probable that the liftman was much more acutely hurt by what he regarded as a slur upon his social standing than he would have been if he had a kick on his shins, for which he could have got a legal redress. The pain of a kick on the shins soon passes away, but the pain of a wound to our self-respect or our vanity may poison a whole day. Okay. In the beginning, he said that the law did not support the liftman. The law won't support the liftman, only it supports the passenger. The kick which he got, the kick which the passenger got, may disappear. Okay, the hurt may disappear, but the disrespectfulness the liftman received will not disappear. It will become like wound in his heart.